have given instructions to all my subordinate officers that the index cases of these Delta plus variant should be monitored very closely.
5 में से 4 पूरी तरह स्वस्थ हैं जो वैक्सीनेटेड थे। उज्जैन में एक जो पॉजिटिव थे उनकी मृत्यु हुई है, वो वैक्सीनेटेड नहीं थे।
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. The second wave is subsiding across the country. In the last 24 hours, India has recorded a little over 50,000 new daily cases and has had very high recoveries as well, which is outnumbering the daily new cases for 41 consecutive days. In a bid to boost the economy, the unlock drive is expanding across the country, and as expected, there is breakdown of COVID protocols as basic rules of social distancing and masks are being flouted openly. The need of the hour is to keep our guard up. As experts predict, the third wave could hit us by September, just 2 months away. If that wasn't enough, cases of the Delta plus variant are on the rise in 4 states. It is a new mutation of the Delta strain that wreaked havoc across the country during the second wave, leading to a spike in daily cases and deaths and crippling the medical infrastructure of the country. The Delta plus variant is active across the globe. In India, around 40 cases have been reported in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala and Karnataka, and experts say it is more transmissible, more resistant to known treatments, and there isn't enough data to know how effective vaccines are against this mutant. The center has called it a variant of concern and has issued an advisory to states to implement immediate containment measures, enhance testing and tracing, as well as boost vaccination drives in districts and clusters where the variant is found. The big concern coming in from experts is that this mutant could trigger the third wave. Now, amidst the unlock drive and beyond the standard COVID protocols, what is the action plan of the center and states to tackle this variant? How will this mutant impact treatment and vaccination protocols? And should we hit the brakes on unlocking till we fully understand this Delta plus variant? Joining me on the show, Dr. Raman Ganga-Khetkar, former Chief Epidemiologist of ICMR, K. Sujata Rao, former Health Secretary. We have Dr. S.C.L. Gupta, Medical Director, Dr. Batra Hospital. Dr. Jaleel Parker is India's topmost pulmonologist. Dr. Raman Ganga-Khetkar, what led to the elevation of this Delta variant from variant of interest to variant of concern?
This Delta variant which we had, it had 3 powerful mutations because of which, we saw there was higher risk of transmission efficiency. In addition to that, there is a new mutation that has been observed with Delta plus, that is K417N. Now, this mutation was seen in the South African variant, and this particular mutation actually was found to be associated with lower efficacy of one of the vaccines. Now, that's the reason why people are currently worried about it. But perhaps one thing which I would stress more than this particular mutation, the Delta variant which carried P681R mutation is perhaps far more significant in a way, because the lab studies tended to show that this particular mutation leads to syncytia formation for a virus, and that actually leads to reduced response to monoclonal antibodies. So essentially you have 2 factors together. One factor that can affect the monoclonal antibodies efficacy, and there is another mutation that can challenge the vaccine worse way, and therefore one needs to caution in mind, though we may need to have a robust data from the actual studies that would happen in India to find out what would be its impact on the spread as well as the severity.
Okay, Dr. Ganga-Khetkar, even as we are speaking right now on this show, the first Delta plus case now being reported from Chennai. So in all, in 5 states of India, cases are being reported. When the experts suggest that this is far more infectious and there is no treatment protocol per se, then how do you treat such patients?
No, monoclonal antibodies alone is not the treatment protocol. Monoclonal antibodies have become available very recently. We continue to manage with whatever we had in the past, quality supportive care, steroids. One must also remember that more often than not, when the viruses mutate, their virulence tends to go down. So they fear that it may be leading to severe COVID disease more often, and perhaps death due to mutations is unlikely to happen as such.
Okay.
But we may still have to wait for some time.
Okay.
And vaccines continue to remain efficacious. So both ways, what is perhaps most important for us to understand is all those who can receive vaccines should take the vaccines quickly, and all those, whether they are vaccinated or not vaccinated, need to ensure that they adhere to COVID appropriate behavior.
Okay.
Variants perhaps can be stopped very easily with that.
Then Dr. Jaleel Parkar, the WHO says that this Delta variant of the COVID-19 is the fittest variant till date and has the ability to find and kill the weakest people. And that's ringing the alarm bells. It's talking about more hospitalization. It's also talking about far more fatality. The question that I asked Dr. Raman Gangakhetkar, I'm going to take that forward with you. If this is resistant to antibody cocktail, then what is really the treatment protocol?
Well, there is no treatment protocol as yet, and I don't think there is any treatment protocol which has been followed over a period of time right from last year. Because every time there has been a treatment protocol, we have then fumbled with it, and then we have said that this is not the treatment protocol. So right now, I don't think that there is any treatment protocol, but if we have these vaccinations done, I think the severity will reduce, even though, this Delta Plus variant will spread across, maybe across the globe, I don't know, because it's already discovered in Europe, I think in in this year, March. So there is no definitive protocol as yet as regards to COVID-19 as a treatment of choice.
In the second wave, the oxygen was seen as a very important resource. In the first wave, we were talking about, hydroxychloroquine and plasma therapy. Then what is the solution, and how do you ensure that there is less deaths as far as the third wave is concerned?
Ma'am, let me tell you, and with all due respect to the medical fraternity all across the globe, including us over here, with no disrespect to anyone, I don't think any one of us have still understood as to what is the treatment of COVID-19. We have flip-flopped from steroids to tocilizumab to remdesivir to plasma to everything that we said it worked. So what has really worked, we do not know. Things have worked, of course, that is why the patients were getting better, but we have not nailed down as the treatment of choice which has been accepted across the globe.
Okay.
As you rightly said, we started with SCQs, azithromycins, ivermectin, doxycycline, remdesivir, tocilizumab, plasma, steroids, oxygen. I'm sure that because of the shortage of oxygen, the industrial oxygen was used, steroids was used and abused, because of which patients have come with mucormycosis, which is again very difficult to treat.
Okay.
Because the same thing is going to happen, and I don't think that we have actually nailed down as to what is the treatment of COVID-19, with all due respect to everybody, whether it is Delta Plus, whichever variant you are talking about.
Okay. Sujata Rao, is the scientific community divided over naming it as a variant of concern? Because look at the statements that have been made by some of the top virologists of the country. Professor Shahid Jamil says that this Delta Plus variant may soon grow to evade COVID-19 vaccines and even immunity gained from previous infections. Then there is a view of Dr. Gagandeep Kang, who says there is no data yet to support the variant of concern claim. So what are we dealing with? Are we still at sea here?
I think it's best not to quibble over what to call it and what not to call it, and look at just the facts and which are staring at us. The fact that there are 41 and 5 states have not seen these cases, and the fact that the limited knowledge says that it's quite virulent, it is quite infectious. I think we should not take anything lying down or take any chances. I would suggest that we should become much more aggressive on genome testing, much more aggressive on trying to identify this particular variant and test it against the vaccines that are being used and see what exactly is the impact, instead of just assuming that it should be okay and not okay or whatever. So I think, we are at such a stage that we cannot afford a wave 2 to take place again. It's simply not going to be, should not be allowed. So I really think that, first of all, the scientists should really get down to the table and stop quibbling about what to call it and get down to doing solid research, number one. I think the clinical doctors must examine whatever little evidence they have and come out with a reasonable treatment protocol so that people don't run around at random and pick up all kinds of drugs and, and experiment. And the third is the government's public health capability must be put in full force to see that the people are, there's a quick tracing of contacts of these 41 persons, try and find out where it is and sanitize that whole area and vaccinate everyone there on priority. My problem with our vaccination strategy today is it's all random. You and I have slots on COVID, we get vaccinated. We may not be the most important people to be vaccinated. So I think it's very important that they look at epidemiological data and come out with a strategy to use whatever vaccine we have strategically and ensure maximum optimal impact on this. So in these areas, I would say that we should not...
Since all of you are emphasizing on vaccines, ma'am, I want to understand, is there any evidence to suggest that the vaccines won't be effective against this variant? Look at what we are being told now. Madhya Pradesh Shivpuri district, which saw 6 youths die due to COVID-19, while one of those who died from the Delta variant had received 2 doses of the vaccines. The rest of them had received 1 dose. There is more information that has come from, several health experts and American scientists who are saying that AstraZeneca vaccine may only be 60% effective against the Delta variant of SARS-CoV-2. So, and again, then it goes on to say that efficacy of AZ, that is AstraZeneca vaccine against Delta variant is not 90%, it is in fact 60%. Pfizer is 88% in one non-trial study. However, 1 dose of this is just 33%, and in most of India, it is only 1 dose that has been given, Dr. S.C.L. Gupta.
Yes, ma'am. Vaccination program is a Government of India's program, and you have seen on Tuesday, 85 lakhs people being vaccinated. And this is a mix with the Covaxin and Covishield. And within a week, the 3rd Sputnik vaccine is being launched. The 2nd dose of vaccine, Sputnik, is multivalent. It's not the same dose which we give in Covaxin and Covishield. There has to be some difference as long as vaccination program is concerned and the result of vaccination is concerned to these patients. Number 1. Number 2, you don't have any alternative except tracing these patients, treating these patients, testing these patients, vaccinating these persons, and especially those 5 states in India, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and one more state, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. All these states, the person where these people get diagnosed, there should be a proper containment zone to be declared. The people around be totally vaccinated. Number 2. Number 3, all those persons who came into contact with these persons, these people, these patients, they should be traced and should be vaccinated. What is in your hand today?
Yes.
You have to do.
Yes.
These are the things. And of course, as long as the treatment is concerned, whatever a doctor thinks good to treat a patient, let him treat, because there is no standard guidelines. Let his wisdom use for treating the patient. Whatever the medicines he wants to use, maybe a plasma therapy, maybe whatever the cocktails they are using, let them use and treat, and the patient becomes all.
Dr. Raman Ganga Khetkar, I am coming to you. The COVID-19 Delta variant was first identified in India, and now it is responsible for 20% of the coronavirus cases, infections, in fact, in US, and such cases are being reported from 9 countries in all. Then how are we supposed to make that distinction between the second wave and the third wave? Because the number of cases also in the second wave was of this particular variant.
Yeah, that's right. I think it would be difficult for me to say whether second wave has gone. Now we are still having somewhere around 60,000 new cases every day. Now, which would essentially mean if the outbreak is pretty severe in the rural areas as of now, in those circumstances, it would be very difficult to comment whether second wave has declined as such. So to call something as a fear of third wave, perhaps I would be little concerned. But the reality of life is whether it is second wave or third wave, if a variant is likely to lead to increase in number of daily new cases that could occur, that should be a cause of concern. But one thing which I would say is we need to have at least a representative sample, because if we say 4 out of 5 or 5 states have been reporting this Delta plus variant, it is possible that what we are assuming that rest of the states don't have, it may also not be true. I think it is important that we need to have a good research design to identify whether it is there in different states as well, so that appropriate actions which could probably reduce the spread of infection could occur, and we could try to stop it. One must always keep one thing at the back of mind, that it was few cases that occurred in China, and we saw the entire pandemic unfolding in 2 months' time. So what would be essential for us to know is to where is it occurring and how do we contain that particular spread. If we do that, then we would at least be a little better off at this time point.
Okay, so can this be really contained, Dr. Gupta?
Yes. See, this virus is more transmission. Transmission is very high. It's more virulent.
If the virus is in the air, then how do you protect yourself? And if you have only 1 dose of vaccine?
Of course, number 1 is a social distance. You have to make a distance. Number 2 is a masking. Number 3 from the government side and the public side is tracing, treating, vaccinating, all these things, overcrowding. What you see today in Delhi, I mean, I'm in Delhi, you see, once lockdown is open, you see the market, you see the crowd. Nobody is following. Whatever the government is saying, there should be masks, nobody is putting masks. Crowd, there should not be a crowded market. एक के ऊपर एक चढ़े हुए हैं आदमी सड़क पर. कैसे करेंगे आप? How you will be controlling? So government should be strict with these measures and should not be strict, should be very strict.
Yes, but the larger concern now is also, is vaccine really a shield in this particular case? And if you have only 1 dose, Sujata Rao, do you think that there is a need for the government to also revisit the dosage gap? As far as Covishield is concerned, the government decided it should be 12 to 16 weeks. Because several other countries have gone ahead and gone back to the paper based on the evidence that is coming in, based on the data that is coming in, and given the nature of this particular variant, there is a need to revisit that gap between the 2 doses as well.
Maria, I trust the process that's going on now. And if our scientists in that NEGVAC committee do feel that they have enough evidence to suggest that there's no need to reduce the gap, I would go by that. Just because it happened in some country need not necessarily be relevant for us. I think we should look at our own data. But what worries me more is that, we assume that vaccines stop all transmission. That's not true. Vaccines reduce remarkably, almost minimizes all hospitalization and has completely eliminated deaths. I mean, most of the time, at least 99%. That's the value of the vaccines. But transmission can still take place with vaccines. And that is the reason why we have to continue with masking, distance maintaining, and containment. So here, the more important public policy that needs to be implemented and focused upon is stop this crowding, this lockdown that has been lifted so recklessly. If you can't implement the lockdown, the lifting of the lockdown as per COVID protocol, then you just come back with the lockdown. But you know, the more they do, it's again the same story as we saw. Wave 1 was coming down, we allowed Kumbh Mela. How are all these markets full of people any less than the Kumbh Mela? So, you know, I think there has to be some seriousness of this whole thing by our political leaders.
Okay, so here is an argument being built by two of the panelists here, Dr. Jaleel Parker, that the unlock measures have to be rethought. That can India really unlock at this stage? If it is about fatigue that has set in, or whatever the reason, if people are not taking precautions, they're not taking necessary, following protocols, then what do? Are we unlocking too soon then?
Ma'am, first of all, let me clarify about these waves that we are talking about. When you are talking about waves, you must understand that, there's a surge, and then you have these lockdowns, and then we open up, and then again, a surge comes into place. So it is happening every 5 months, 6 months or so. So there is nothing like a wave coming. It is all because we are not following the protocols that we should as responsible citizens of wearing a mask and social distancing. However, all this can be done, and it's very easier said than done, because the economy is really getting affected. So we as citizens, we should realize that if we want our economy to boom, if we want that people should not die of hunger, if people have to get their salaries, then they also have a social commitment towards the government. They should have these, they should vaccinate themselves, they should sanitize themselves, and they should maintain social distancing. So these lockdowns, only the lockdowns are not going to help. And this, let me tell you, this COVID-19 is here to stay for a long time, unless we realize that we should get vaccinated, and we should get vaccinated appropriately. We should maintain social distancing, and at the same time do sanitation. We are back to square one. So please, all of us, I think we should get together, help the government, so that, we can get over this COVID and this COVID waves that we are talking about. Let me tell you, this whole year is going to pass, and maybe the next year also. So please, all of us should understand this.
You're painting a really dark picture there, Dr. Jaleel Parker, but perhaps,
not a dark picture,
but speaking the truth,
reality.
Yes, it's the real picture, I would say. Yes. Let me give the final words to Dr. Raman Gangakhetkar. Dr. Gangakhetkar, you are of the opinion that perhaps we should not be making that distinction that the second wave has come to an end, and that there is a third wave which will happen somewhere around September, because the second wave in itself is extending.
Yes, probably it can. No, I'm not saying that it is extending, because I don't have any evidence. We don't have robust data from rural areas to comment on this particular issue. But my only submission that I would have is, it is time we have to look at the Chinese model really well. They also perhaps are threatened by the variants that are occurring elsewhere. But, once they detect anywhere that somebody is infected, not only are they doing sequencing to find out why this virus has probably infected and from where it has come, and the second thing which they do is they test almost the entire village or city where they have detected these cases and try to take corrective actions in terms of isolating those individuals, those who are found positive. I think that has worked. Why we all the time focus on those countries which are suffering. But we need to understand more about how China has been able to protect themselves really well so far.
All right. Dr. Raman Gangakhetkar, always a pleasure to have you on my shows. Sujata Rao, Dr. S.C.L. Gupta and Dr. Jalil Parkar, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us on News Epicenter. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Of course, there is lots more that people have on their minds as far as this new variant is concerned, whether it's far more infectious, far more fatal. For the moment, it looks like that this certainly is a variant of concern. So be careful, mask up, and don't venture out if you don't have to. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.